Alright, so my hour-and-a-half long elaborate taping mission is finally complete. As you can see here, it's kind of like a dual-tiered setup, like Euro bracing for the bottom, so that's why there's two gaps in the tape all the way around the tank. And then, of course, just one up the back. You obviously won't see any of that under the bottom, so it's not extremely crucial to get that perfect, but I kind of just like things as good as they can be, so I just did it real nice. But yeah, so at this point, I need to run it over with acetone again. Just make sure everything's nice and clean before the silicone goes on. And then I think before I apply silicone, I need to take the tank off of the stand, because you can see right here where the stand has gotten water on it, and now it's kind of warped and has high and low spots. And on a tank this long, it's very important that the tank sits flat on the stand, because it can cause it to bow down in certain sections and break the glass, and I really don't want that. There's a good example of it right there where it's swelled up. So what I'm going to have to do is take the tank off the stand and get an orbital sander and sand this top piece down. That, or I'm going to have to replace the top piece. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll figure out something. So that's the next step, and so yeah, so one step closer, and we'll get this thing filled up soon. Alright everybody, tank is on the ground. As you can see, I'm going to do one final vacuum on it just to get the particles out of it and stuff like that. It's been sitting here for a couple days, so I don't want, you know, dog hair, cat hair, random debris in my silicone. So we'll vacuum it out, acetone it one more time, and then apply silicone finally. And now for the acetone. Alright, now it's time for this. Let's get this show on the road. Well, I got all the tape off this thing finally, and I have to say, after doing this by myself, this big of a tank, it's 10 feet long, I cannot recommend this to anyone to do by themselves. It was ridiculous. It was really frustrating trying to peel off 2 different layers of tape down here on the bottom. I made a huge mess. Hopefully it seals. I think it should, because I didn't allow it to skin and mess around with that, and it was completely covered and completely clean. I prepped the surface really well quite a few times. So I'm not worried about that. It's just the fumes that come off of silicone when it's curing are just unbearably awful when your head's down inside of here. So again, I recommend having somebody else with you to peel tape with you, or get some kind of vacuum to suck the fumes out, or I don't know, something different than what I did, because it was just really, really hard to do by myself. So if you're thinking about doing a big tank, get some help. It's so much easier. So with that being said, we're going to test fill this here pretty soon. I just have to get it up onto the stand. I've got a couple of chairs sitting up on top of this board that I cut. The old top board on this thing got water on it when it leaked, and it sort of bubbled it up in certain areas, and with 4,000 pounds sitting on top of it, I didn't want the top board bubbles to tweak the tank in any way and cause breakage or cracking or anything down the line. So I just decided to do away with the old top board And so this is just an 8-foot by 4-foot piece of 3/4 inch plywood I got from the local hardware store, and I've cut it down so it will fit the top. And so, you know, I got the chairs on here, like I said, to weight it down so I can actually drill some holes in the bottom and get the screws in so that we can get this monster back up on here. I got to get a couple of buddies over to hoist that. It's impossible to do by myself with even like a cherry picker or anything. It's not going to work. It's just, I'm probably going to break it or break myself or something stupid. So I'm just going to wait for them, and then it's test fill time. So stay tuned. Let's see what happens.